Ricochet.
Hello there everybody, welcome to Medium Tank 4. This is Road to T55a Completion. Today we're going to be doing 3 tanks immobilized by destroying the track and cause damage to an immobilized vehicle 3 times by shooting it. For honors it's destroy 2, and then we'd also like to win if possible. Today we're going to be playing the 3002M. This is a pretty good tank. I enjoyed the grind. It was pretty short. I actually ended this grind with 3300 win 8 in this tank, 60% win rate, and 1300 damage per game. So I did about 1.5 times my HP and a KD of almost 2.0, 1.87. Still, I would say the tank's not amazing. Tier 6 is just a good tier if you've got a crew and no one else does. This is not a crazy hard mission. You just have to try for it with the tracks, and you'll see that throughout this game. There's quite a few times where I just take shots for the tracks. That's 1 of 3 already completed. I'm in a 3-man platoon here. Siegfried lately has not been a great map for me. Mannerheim surprisingly has been a little bit better, and I'm not even sure if mines is still in rotation because I'm definitely not getting any mines these days. I'm going to be looking for tips and tricks on playing the VK. I'm going to tell everybody to run rammer on it, vents, and then the last slot doesn't matter. Put a turbo on if you can put a turbo on. Put anything that's going to help the gun otherwise. The tank's not that slow. It's got a pretty good horsepower to ton. At least it feels that way. Now we're 2 of 3 here. We need to deal damage again. There's another track. And this VK is going to donate his way. We're 2 of 3 on both. And these missions, you have to play for the objectives. There's one more done. So we're up to only needing to immobilize a tank. And look at this nice dynamic gameplay as we'll try to immobilize this AT2. And there's one shot. Unfortunately, my teammates already has him immobilized. It's not super helpful. The APCR on this tank is great if you take a look with me. It's all the way up to 194 and then almost 1200 MS, which feels amazing. The AP is actually 150. How I looked at these low tiers, and really if you're trying to grind up lines like I am, I kind of recommend you look at it the same way. If you have any chance of bouncing, just fire Prem. You're going to be playing 20 games or less in these tanks, and it's not like you're going to be dumping a ton of credits in those. Cromwell is your nemesis though when you play something like the 3002, because it's just a better tank. Frankly, it's faster, it's got crazy DPM, worse pen, but it doesn't matter in tier 6. The VK actually does a pretty good job as top tier and poking his turret up and spotting. If you look, you've got a little bit of a spaced armor on the front of the man lid there. It's not a lot of actual armor, but it's pretty handy. I averaged almost 1.5 spots per game on the grind that I did through this tank, and that's one of the reasons. If you've got a pretty good mantlet I should say, just go ahead and poke it over a ridge, see what you can find, and it's going to give you a little more spotting damage, and of course you're going to get paid. The game pays you that assistance damage, which is so beautiful. I'd love to kill this Cromwell. We get the track, we don't really need the track, and then unfortunately this is kind of the bummer part of the VK. You see we're so long with the middle mounted turret, it's not really a good way for us to do this. And then the Jackson the Destroyer, call him Jason for Halloween, comes in from the side. We get stomped here as a team. Not a big deal though. We complete our mission and we move on to the next one. And that's how you've got to be playing the low tiers on the missions. Just move on to the next one. And we'll see you here in just a minute. Hope you enjoyed the game. Hello there everybody. Welcome to T55a Road to Completion. Today we're looking at Medium Tank 5. This is a really simple mission. Destroy a light tank within the first 2 minutes of battle. I say simple, I don't say easy. This is a mission where you don't have a whole lot of control over this unless you want to make a YOLO. And on a map like Siegfried, I have even less control. The good news is it's a map where tanks will normally congregate here in the middle, so you have a chance at it, unlike some other maps where you're just never going to see them in the first 2 minutes, unless they really suicide. The bad news is unless the tank gets a little bit super wild, I still have no shot. There's only 2 lights in the entire game, So it's like saying, hey, we need you to kill a specific 2 of 15 tanks off the bat. And sadly, I missed my first shot. Get incredibly lucky here. 50 minutes in, the mission's already done. And now we just get to play out the game. Really, really, really easy. These missions, the timed ones with kills in the beginning or specific kind of kills, are probably my least favorite because it encourages the worst gameplay of anything. You don't have time to let a game develop. You don't even have time to pick your deployment. If you need to get a kill or two within the first 2-3 minutes, you're basically just choosing to YOLO across the map. Those are probably the most toxic to the team as far as missions go. The second most toxic, I would guess, are the ones that say, hey, don't get lit. Because from a spotting perspective, if you hear team all camps in the back, it's pretty garbage. We've had a pretty okay game here, 528 damage. We're going to go back to base. Yeah, there's probably some tanks in the east, but this is going to be the easiest way to farm damage. I'm not really concerned about base at the moment. I'm here with the Bois and Sue and an AT. They're never going to push through. Makes me a little sad that the Sue spanks that guy. I was hoping to farm the 43 for full HP. Here I think watching it back, I probably should have tried to ram him. I was actually concerned about the 43 getting to my side and griefing me that way, but I think the bigger upside would have been to try for the ram. We're going to dive forward here every 20 seconds because nothing happens until we get to the base. Our team absolutely wrecks this game, and now there's an 825 in the low ground. Prepare yourself for some German accuracy memes because what you're about to see isn't very great. Admittedly, this is a pretty slim shot, and unfortunately I take 2 with APCR on it. We don't even come close on these. That one is the closest of the 3, but for having a pinpoint accurate gun, which is really the only thing that the VK has going for it, is this nice cinematic shot of the barrel all up in our face. It's not super accurate. Still, this was an easy mission, and I'm grateful for that. The ELC donated himself at the beginning. I can't complain one bit. For easiest odds of completing the mission, yeah, Lakeville's pretty good at it. Map like Proc is pretty good too, because usually the lights, one of them gets too aggro early, or you can blind fire bushes. It's all about what team has the suicidal light, and you're hoping that their team does, and that you can take advantage of it. There's not really a way to guarantee it in a game, unlike some of the other missions. Good luck if this is the one you're working on. Hello and welcome to Medium Tank 6, which you're probably seeing about 3 seconds after Medium Tank 5, which you saw about 3 seconds after Medium Tank 4 if they all uploaded in the same video. Medium Tank 6 is destroy 3 enemy vehicles of 3 different types, win and survive for honors. We're also working on the block here. We need to destroy enemy light tanks. Looking back over all the missions that were completed, this is definitely one of the throwier games I've played. We're in the 3002, which was a pretty good tank for me. I actually liked this tank. It has insane DPM. That was one of the things that I noticed on my playthrough, is that the DPM on this is absolutely no slouch with the 88. And I did play it Elite with the 88, so I'm probably a little biased. I managed a 2500 win rate in this tank over 23 battles. I actually completed the whole grind in 23 battles. Almost 1500 DPG. Kind of a low win rate. I did 52% win rate. Most of it was solo. Here we see with Mini Tank. Unfortunately, Mini doesn't carry me hard enough, I guess. Spots 1.61. That's probably a little high. That probably contributed to the loss. And then the death on this tank is pretty high too for me. Only a 21% survival, so too much spotting, too little surviving. Some of that's the nature of the VK. As far as the gun goes though, the 88, if you're running AP, sucks. It's only got 145 mil pen. If you're running APCR, it's 200 pen with something like a 5-second reload. Really, really fantastic. As far as the game deployment goes here, I'm too scared to deploy into the east. It's a tier 8 game, and it's a pretty scary tier 8 game. These CDs are all going to shred. Literally anything on their team is going to pen me. So I kind of run around with my head cut off, not doing anything, after getting penned by the M4190 with HE to add insult to injury. We're going to try to help the West now with our 200 mils pen. And remember, I need to kill 3 different vehicles of different types. I've got a 4190 in the field there. Fantastic. We get the light tank done, and then what's really cool is it actually boosts our block as well. So that was really, really a nice kill. And it's revenge. Who doesn't love a little bit of a revenge kill against the guy that penned you? I'm bad talking the gun in the chat here for the dispersion, which is true. Dispersion's pretty bad. Some of it is the traverse, so the tank's traverse is actually so dang fast that it makes it a bit funky. The leaderboard on this tank is interesting. It's from ranking on DPG. I would fit onto 20th on the server, it looks like, from a DPG standpoint, which is nice. 21st on the server from a DPG standpoint. There are definitely guys with more, all 19 of them, but most of them have a better win rate, so my guess is that they're doing more with the tank. There's actually a guy named Jar Jar Derps, if anybody wants to look it up. He's got 103 battles with 4,800 win rate in this tank, which is insane, and then a 4.34 KD, so that's such an outlier even on the list that it's a little bit questionable to me, but for all I know, he's just the VK 3002D god. Me, I'm just a filthy casual. I'm gonna deal with the really long aim time. I'm gonna fire lots of premium rounds and hope for the best. Tomato GG is awesome if you want to check yourself against the best on the server. Every so often I do, just to see how far I have to go. But it's pretty nice and stuff like this because I've got individualized tank stats now. West gets stalled out here a little bit and I go to help because this is going to be the weak side. It's always going to be best to pressure the weak side and then we can come back to help into the middle. So that's my goal here. And I may or may not be hoping I can get a little bit of a kill. And there's our tiger kill. Unfortunately for me and you, we don't have any HP left now. We still need a kill. We're up HP in the game, but our team's positioning is really bad. It's really a hard game. They're going to have cap control. None of us can deal with the TS5. T55a, not such a problem, but he's a pain. And the game is going to get really, really hard. Because of everyone else lit on the map, though, I know that all I have to worry about here is the T25, and if I get a chance, I can shoot crosswise across the map. I know it's redundant, but now we're just going to look down here for our cross shots. If you find yourself in a situation with 57 HP, you're going to need to camp it out. We have 0.38 accuracy. Not too great, and if you look at the shell velocity, not very fast either. 966 actually on the premium. But hilariously, setting up here in the VK actually proves pretty nice for the team. We're able to stitch up the G-SOAR, able to shoot the TVP, and it's just a great example of flexing around. I noticed in the replay there's a tiger next to me. I don't think I knew that in real time or paid attention. Doesn't look like he actually shoots anything. Too bad he wasn't doing something useful. So our G-SOAR's on cap with just the one on there. I know that if I go to cap, all I'm doing is adding one more, and it's easy to die if anybody comes back. What I'd rather do is shoot into the south and actually defend. That's what I'm hoping to do through this whole process. T20 comes back, so I'm really glad I didn't get on cap because we wouldn't have capped out by now. And now the game starts to get kind of iffy. I need to move, but I can't go south. Those early shots that I took really show the issue. Our G-SOAR is doing a great job on cap. It's going to get really funky again. I switched to the TVP because he's easier to pen at range, bigger profile. And then I'm going to try to get the finish on the G-SOAR here. It's a wing and a prayer, but that's why I didn't shoot him in the first place. He's just a much harder pen for me with 200, with the turret, and he's hull down. It's a less than 50% in my opinion. Great work by this T20 as well, coming back. Big respect. Now we've got a problem here. So they're on our cap. We're still stuck on the wrong side of the map. My G-SOAR can't go anywhere. I can't really get back to reset. I can look at it, but the game is very tricky. So remember when I always talk about missions making people selfish. That's exactly what we have going on. I whiffed that shot too, which I should not have. Totally unacceptable, and I kind of screw my G-Sword. But now we need to play selfish. This game's not winnable, in my opinion. I can't kill a TS5. I can't kill anything else off the map unless that they donate themselves. Our base should actually be fine, though. If you look, we have a T28, which can pen the TS5. The Reverie definitely can. And then our Hellcat just needs to go on a flank. But for my money here, let's give it a little zoom in, see what we got going on. Oh, cinematic. I waited for the M4 to poke. He rounds. I pen him. And I low roll criminally. Not great. Maybe I high rolled a different shot earlier. Although looking at the list here, it looks like I actually didn't do too much high rolling this game. The M4 hold down is a hard pen for me, and his reload with the 90 is actually quite fast, so I don't want to chance it and try to get the aim in with the bloom. Instead, I'm going to wait, see if I can get him to move up, and then I'm going to repoke and look for a shot that's a finish. The TS5 just rolled over everybody on base somehow, which is pretty uncomfortable. It looks like the TVP came back to help. Now we've got the G-Sword. We aim. We aim. We aim. We pull the trigger, and we get him as the M4 kills us. What's great is that we completed the mission. Looking back, it maybe wasn't as selfish of a game as I thought it was in real time. I thought I'd been a little throwy trying to get the mission. To be honest, I don't know really where else I would have gone in this game. So I'm just glad to have gotten it done. None of these are required with honors. We destroyed 3 of 3 different types. We did it as bottom tier or low tier in this game as well. And we did it in 3001 with a pretty good amount of damage. So all in all, pretty good game for us. And another mission completed. Moving on. I guess we should play out the end of the game. You can guess the Reverie doesn't clutch it. Actually doesn't even fire. So that's a little weird, but maybe the sound broke there at the end. I can't tell. Oh, we've got the guy in the chat saying trash team, but it's not true. This was actually a really close game. Next time, if I go back to do these, maybe we'll be able to win the battle. If not, well, we'll figure it out later. But thanks for watching. MT6 is completed. I will see you guys soon in MT7. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about your missions, let me know. I would love to help you. Thanks.